Hi, welcome to all of our out-of-state families. We're going to wait just a few minutes to let some more folks trickle into our meeting, so we'll start in just a few minutes. Welcome to those joining us. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to let a few folks come and trickle into the room. Once that's finished, we're going to begin. Thank you for your patience. Hi, and welcome all those who are just joining us to our out-of-state families session. We're just waiting for a few more folks to join us. Thank you for your patience. Okay, I think we're going to begin here in just a moment. Hello, and welcome to all of our out-of-state students and families who are joining us today from their homes. I'm glad that you've been able to attend some of our virtual open house sessions, and we hope that you are learning a lot about Cal Poly and getting excited about attending this fall. My name is Ryan, and I'm the Regional Admissions Manager in the Great Pacific Northwest. I'm based out of Portland, and I know a thing or two about moving out of state. I grew up on the central coast of California, where Cal Poly has really been a fixture in my life. But I've also lived in Hawaii, Colorado, Florida, and now Oregon. We love our out-of-state students at Cal Poly, whether from the next state over or across the continent. You all truly bring diverse thoughts and perspectives to our campus. Approximately 15% of our student population come from other US states, and we get applications from all 50 states and most US territories with, fun fact, the largest number of students joining us from Washington state. You all bring a richness to campus life, and when you come to Cal Poly, not only are you learning about our SLO life and culture here in California, our California students learn from all of you about cultures, traditions, and activities from different parts of our nation. Today, we want to introduce you to some of the fantastic support systems that we have in place for those students who are adventurous enough to leave their home states to attend Cal Poly. We'll talk about some programs and events that will help you, as well as some other issues that impact students and families from out of state. After a brief presentation, we will turn to our amazing Cal Poly panel to answer some of your questions live. We have only a limited amount of time with you today, and we know that you may have many more questions than we will have time to answer. So we will include some contact information so that by the end of this session, you will know how to find help. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce the folks joining us today for our panel. First, we have Jake from Parent and Family Programs. Jake, thank you for joining us today. Do you want to wave and say a quick hello?
Hello, thank you all for being here. My name is Jake, lead coordinator of the Parent and Family Programs Department.
Thank you, Jake. We also have Sarah. Sarah is an out-of-state student who works with our Local Connections program. Hi, Sarah.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm a fourth-year landscape architecture student from Ohio.
Thank you for joining us today, Sarah. We also have Grace. Grace is an out-of-state student. She's studying architecture from Minnesota. Grace, do you want to say a quick hello?
Hi, everybody.
Next, we have Delphina. Delphina is the assistant director of our financial aid department. Hi, Delphina. Thank you for being here with us today.
Welcome, everyone.
We also have Zach from our housing department. Hi, Zach.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today.
And finally, we have Cecily. Cecily is a mom to not one, but two current Cal Poly students from Colorado. Hi, Cecily.
Hi, everybody.
Awesome. I'm so happy that we have you all here to answer all of our questions. Thank you so much. As we begin this session, feel free to ask us your questions in the Q&A feature on the bottom of the Zoom webinar platform. And you can direct your questions to a specific panelist if you like. We have a great team of folks and can answer your questions there. And we may address some of them with our live panel as well. Okay, to get started, we're going to learn a little bit about our parent and family programs. Jake, would you like to talk to us a little bit about how awesome this program is and what they do to support our families?
Yeah, definitely be happy to kick us off. Hello again, my name is Jake. I am the lead coordinator of parent and family programs. And just a little bit about our department. We essentially serve as a catch-all resource for anything that has to do with Cal Poly that parents and families might want to know about. So we put on programs and events throughout the year specifically dedicated for parents and families. So we do have a presentation tomorrow that starts at 5, so I don't want to go too much into the ins and outs of our program now. So if you do want to know more, tune in tomorrow at 5, but there are a few things I did want to touch on today that's a little bit more relevant to out-of-state families. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is our move-in event. So you'll find out that when you move in as an out-of-state student, you typically have the opportunity to do it ahead of time, earlier than the in-state students. And it's a really long day, it takes a long time, and you're usually pretty tired by the end of it. So we offer an opportunity for you to get some free food and get to meet with other out-of-state families and students. So we offer an event called Gathering on the Green. It's that first day of move-in. And we usually have campus administration come and say a few words to you all, but we also encourage you to mingle and meet other students and other parents and families and supporters. So that's a great event. It's really laid back, pretty fun to get to know everybody. But our flagship event that happens a little bit later in fall quarter is actually Mustang Family Weekend. So we strategically have that 6 weeks after move-in so that your student can get acclimated, get into some clubs and organizations and kind of get their feet wet. And then you get to come back and check on them and see how they're doing. So it really is the entire weekend. It's a campus-wide effort. We have lots of resources and clubs and organizations come out and showcase all the great things that they do throughout the year. And then your student can basically show you firsthand what they've been involved with since coming to Cal Poly. So we'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow during our session. But the last thing I wanted to touch on is our Parent Advisory Council. So this is a really unique body of parents that serve in a more advisory fashion to the university. So we have 2 meetings a year. They're really, really built out. We have campus administration come and give you updates about what's happening with Cal Poly at the time. And we use that as a really good, it's an opportunity for you to provide input at these meetings that kind of help to steer our campus programming. So we have 24 spots and we do have a few vacancies. We're always looking for out-of-state support and out-of-state input. So if you're interested in participating or would like to serve on the panel or the council, I should say, just let me know as soon as possible. We typically have a spring meeting that is during open house, but this year we were throwing a pretty big curveball. So we're actually not doing a meeting for open house. We're probably gonna have a meeting a little bit later in May, but if you're a prospective member and you do wanna join that council, just let me know. We can send you the Zoom link and you can sit in on it and see what it means to be a part of that council. So if you have some really good ideas about where Cal Poly should be headed, it's really an interesting and fun opportunity to provide input to the university. Yeah, and so we'll talk a lot more about the programs and resources that we offer tomorrow, but one of the more specific ones to out-of-state students that I will actually let Sarah talk more about is our program called Local Connections, and Sarah is our main student representative on that program. So Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself and take it away with Local Connections.
Hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Sarah, and I'm originally from Dayton, Ohio. Currently, I am living here in San Luis Obispo, and I'm the student coordinator for the Local Connections program. So I'm just going to speak for a few brief moments about my experience with the program and what the program actually can provide for out-of-state students. So as a freshman student, I filled out the application and was grateful to be connected with a local couple here in San Luis Obispo. And throughout my second year, I began planning socials for other out-of-state and international students here at Cal Poly. So the program itself connects local community members in San Luis Obispo with out-of-state and international students. And it provides them with an opportunity to go on hikes together, just get food. It's kind of just like an extra support system for your students since they're traveling so far away and making this big transition from high school to college. So I was very grateful to be a part of this program as a younger out-of-state student, and now that I'm a fourth year here, I've been working as a student coordinator, and I just love the opportunity to connect with both students and locals. I really think this program like strengthens our Cal Poly community and our San Luis Obispo community. So if you would like more information, it will be listed at the end of the presentation, but we just promote this program because it's such a great program, and it just connects and strengthens our out-of-state and international communities within Cal Poly.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Jake, for sharing. Those are all fantastic resources that I hope you, as new admitted students to Cal Poly, I hope you'll take advantage of those once you join us in the fall. Next, we're going to talk about transportation. That is always a big question that we get from our out-of-state families. And to help us to talk about that a little bit more, we're bringing in our out-of-state student, Grace, to talk a little bit about her experiences about transportation.
Hey, thank you. So I know we got a lot of questions already and in the Q&A box, and so I said that we'd answer those live, so I'm going to address those right now. So I'm from Minnesota originally, and now I kind of split my time through San Luis Obispo and Minnesota. I'm still in SLO currently, and I've loved being shelter in place with all of my roommates, and also just like having that community here has been really nice as well. But I know that during this time, transportation is definitely something of a little bit of uncertainty, but normally, like pre-COVID in San Luis Obispo, we have a really great regional airport. That's normally how I get to and from SLO. From home, I connect either in Phoenix or in Denver, and that's a pretty easy way for me to get home. But also, my parents always look at flights either in LAX or SFO, sometimes even San Jose and Santa Barbara. So there's a lot of really great options. We are like midway between LA and San Francisco, and that's a really great resource for out-of-state students because it's a pretty cheap option to either use the Amtrak to and from those larger airports, or even the Cal Poly rideshare. So that's kind of a resource that we have on the slide here. So our rideshare Facebook page, you can either offer rides or request rides. So my friend Emily is from Berkeley, and she goes back pretty often, especially over like long weekends. And so she, with a car, will post like, hey, I am offering rides like from SLO to the Bay on Friday afternoon. Like, here's my rate. Most of the time people are like, I'll offer like a payment or good snacks and like good music taste and company. I know that long drive is always nice to have a companion of some sort. And then in San Luis Obispo itself, we have a really great public transportation system as well. So all students here on campus will receive a Poly card once they are students at Cal Poly, and that not only is like all of your dining and meal plans, but also like printing, and it's also your free ticket to the public transit system. And freshmen aren't allowed to have cars on campus, but once you get up to be upperclassmen, it's pretty regular to use a car if you live like within the surrounding areas, or also a lot of people bike within SLO. It's really great weather here, about 75 and sunny almost year round. I personally drive a moped. I love my little scooter, and it's a really great way to be an out-of-state student but not have the full investment of buying a car out here. But freshmen get around really easily. We have a ton of resources on campus, like the SLO Safe Ride. We also have shuttles to and from the airport over Thanksgiving break, winter break, and spring break, which I didn't know that until I was asked that question. So we have a lot of really great resources for our students, both getting to San Luis Obispo and then just around San Luis Obispo as well.
Thank you so much, Grace. And as Grace was speaking, you'll see in our chat feature down there, we've dropped a few links to some of the information that she shared. So there's a link to that Cal Poly rideshare page. There's some information about the public transportation in the SLO area, as well as the regional airport. So look for those if you have any more questions. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can transfer any credit that you may have coming from out of state. I know definitely in Washington and Colorado, Hawaii, and some of the other regions that we work with, there are a lot of dual enrollment programs out there that allow high school students to take college courses as part of their curriculum. And so there's a lot of questions about how do I find out what this credit will transfer to? What about my AP or IB scores? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that so that you have some additional information about that. For AP and IB exam score evaluation, if you are accepting your offer of admission, go ahead and request that those scores be sent to our admissions office as soon as possible. That way we can go ahead and evaluate based on your exam score what credit that you'll receive. And you'll see in the chat box here, we're also including a link. That link will take you to a chart from our registrar's office. And that chart shows you for every exam you may have taken, whether at AP or IB, depending on the score that you received, exactly what credit you will get at Cal Poly. And so that's definitely a great resource for you to take a look at now and just kind of take a look and see what kind of credits you'll get and how that will translate over here at Cal Poly. For those of you who have coursework that you've taken at a community college or university through the dual enrollment program, whether that's Running Start, College in the Classroom, or some of the other programs, we don't have any articulation agreements established yet with out-of-state colleges and universities, but the sooner you get us those official transcripts, the sooner our amazing evaluations department can start looking at those. They do it on a course-by-course basis. And they always try to get as much credit as they can for the students where possible. So send over those official transcripts to us promptly, and that way, come August, we will have those evaluated as well. In August, you will see in your Cal Poly portal exactly how that AP, IB, or college coursework has been transferred. So look out for that at that time. The evaluations process does happen during this summer. And in addition to that, when you are block scheduled, these AP score, IB score, and college coursework evaluations are taken into consideration when you receive your schedule. If you have any questions about that, we are posting some links to our transfer credit page from the registrar's office. Take a look at that, and if you are working with a regional admissions manager, reach out to them if you have any questions as well. Now, a lot of us, coming from another state, we're wondering what Cal Poly is like. What is the culture like at Cal Poly? And so, coming from a different area and coming into a new one, you're really building yourself a new home. And we want to show you a little bit about the Cal Poly traditions we want you to get familiar with, because we want Cal Poly to be your new home come this fall. So we're going to show a quick video of some of those awesome Cal Poly traditions now. Looks like we're having some technical difficulties with the sound on our video. Please bear with us. All right, sorry about that. Looks like the video sound was not quite working correctly, but what I'd like to do now instead is if we could just ask some of the panelists what their favorite Cal Poly traditions are. Do you want to start, Sarah? How about you?
Yeah, I'd love to start. It was hard to pick, honestly, but I think my favorite Cal Poly tradition was being a part of the Week of Welcome. I remember my WOW leaders took me kayaking in Morro Bay, and like I remember it to this day. It was the best time.
Thank you, Sarah. Do we have another panelist who wants to share their favorite Cal Poly tradition?
Yes, I will go. My favorite Cal Poly tradition, and it's more of a San Luis tradition, is the Tri-Tip Challenge. So as you'll find out coming to Cal Poly, there are 3 major peaks in the area. There's Bishop's, Madonna, and the P, which is located right behind Cal Poly. The challenge is you do them all in one day, and then you go to Firestone, which is like an amazing barbecue restaurant downtown, and you get a tri-tip sandwich. So you take on 4 of some of the most famous things in San Luis Obispo all in one day. And so it's like very efficiently San Luis Obispo.
I really enjoy the farmers market. So this is also kind of more of a San Luis Obispo tradition, but Cal Poly students are half the population here, so we definitely partake. So every single Thursday night, downtown shuts down. I'd say it's probably 6 blocks just for local restaurants and produce growers to set up boothing, and everyone comes downtown, grabs a bite to eat. There's a ton of musical artists performing. We also have bike night alongside this. So the first Thursday of every month, the community all jumps on their bikes. They like are donned in costumes and like light up their bikes and have speakers. It's really fun, and you just yell bike night at each other the entire time. It's a really funny but great tradition.
Anyone else want to share a Cal Poly tradition that they like?
As a parent, my favorite tradition was the first day of
Really enjoy being able to hike there.
the Week of Welcome. And I don't remember what street it was, but I think it was Grand Avenue when we were driving onto campus to drop our daughter off for her first day of WOW orientation. And there were hundreds of students, current students, lining the side of the road, cheering and screaming, "Welcome WOWies," and hollering and holding up signs. And that was fantastic. And my kids both felt so welcomed when they saw these other students welcoming them to their first day of Cal Poly.
I'll go next. My favorite Cal Poly tradition has been what we call convocation. So during fall quarter, as soon as students get situated, faculty and staff prepare a day where we get to meet and greet with new students. We get to talk about where we work, where we're at, and where you can connect with us. It's just an amazing evening of meet and greet, not just faculty and staff, but students that are really looking for new student involvement into their clubs and organizations. So look forward to that.
Anyone else want to share? Okay, I'll tell you what my favorite is. Every year when students are moving in, all of the admissions office and some of the different departments, we get together and we greet the parents and families and students coming in with all of their moving stuff in their car, and we meet them at the curb and help them get their stuff into little carts and roll them over to their rooms. It's such an exciting day, and it's such an awesome time from someone who works in admissions to kind of, see the whole cycle, from application to getting them there for that move-in day. And I can tell you that the energy is just fantastic, and it's such a wonderful time on campus. Okay, our next question I'm going to direct to, I think, either of our students. Grace, I think you shared a little bit about this, but the first question that we got is, how difficult is it to fly into San Luis Obispo and back? Has anyone had experience flying into San Luis Obispo in the regional airport?
I regularly use the SLO Airport. I have family in Phoenix, so it's always a nice break for me to have like a 4-hour layover there, and I can just grab a meal with them. But I think it's really easy for a lot of out-of-state students because there's a lot of great connection points. I know Denver, I'm pretty sure it's Houston, Phoenix. We have a direct flight to Seattle now as well. So there's a lot of like common places that students are from. A lot of our out-of-state students are either from Washington or Colorado, and any other states can connect easily through those as well. It's also a really pretty airport. As an architecture major, I definitely think it's a very cute place to be, and not a bad place. So
it's certainly easy getting through security there. You usually walk right up, and it's really always surprising to see that. Sarah, did you have any experiences you wanted to share about flying into the San Luis Obispo Airport?
I actually, as a freshman, I was flying home for the holidays, and my flight got canceled out of the San Luis Obispo Airport. But thankfully, I had joined the Local Connections program, and actually the previous student coordinator drove me down to Santa Barbara when my flight was rescheduled. So it doesn't happen that often, but I did want to just share that story because some things like that can happen. And so, but there are other airports close by. So Santa Barbara was only like an hour and a half away. So there's options, and the Amtrak as well is very helpful. I've heard a lot of my friends will Amtrak to like Los Angeles or San Francisco Airport. So there's options.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Grace. The next question is for housing. So Zachary, is there an address where we can ship boxes to?
Yeah, so when you get your housing assignment, then you'll be provided an address as well. And I can share a URL in the chat. We work closely with an organization called Distribution Services here on campus, and that can give you all of the information about what we do both internally here on campus, and then some of the work we do with our local, the Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, things like that. So I think the best way is probably to share the link in the chat, and I'll make sure it goes to everybody. But yes, there are different ways, and we are looking at that more closely for this upcoming school year as well, to accommodate as many people from out of state as we can, because we know people want to travel light when they fly here. And another thing I would add is that we do have quite the well-equipped rooms for you here on campus. So things like your furniture will be taken care of. We have mini fridges, we have microwaves, things like that. So double check with your roommates, and also we have every store you can imagine here in SLO County as well. So I would say pack light, but then also there's also, of course, those essentials you want to bring. So I'll share that link, and we do have some different shipping options for you.
Thank you, Zachary. The next question is actually directed to Cecily. Cecily, what is some advice or tips that you could give our out-of-state parents?
Book your hotels early for big events like Mustang weekend or the open house in April, graduation, and your flights also. You're going to find a lot less expensive flight if you do it, 2 or 3 months in advance. I think the best thing that you can do with your kids when you first get there is to explore the town and the surroundings. It really gives you a sense of security when you see where they're going to be and how close the restaurants and the stores are and grocery shopping and just how peaceful the campus is. I really think that spending a few days in SLO before they started orientation was really helpful to all of us, especially since we were saying goodbye to our kids and sending them to school 1,000 miles away for the first time. We just really felt a lot more comfortable after we had a chance to spend some time on campus and in the town, just exploring and having an idea of what they were talking about when they would tell us about what they were up to at school.
Thanks, Cecily. Where can students find, or where can parents find hotels around San Luis Obispo? What do you recommend?
So we stayed a couple of times in little motels by the university, but then the last 3 years we've really been staying down by where the Costco and the Target are, and I can't remember the name of the street, but it's about 5 minutes from campus. And there's a Hampton Inn and an Embassy Suites, and those places have breakfast. They're close to the shopping, so that if we had to hit Target or Costco or Home Depot on our way back to campus with the kids, that was really convenient. And but everything there is great. We haven't stayed in a place that hasn't been really fantastic in the last 4 years.
Thank you so much, Cecily. I know that that will help a lot of parents who are really planning to come visit their students. The next question is addressed to financial aid. So Delphina, how can students see their financial aid awards? Where do they go to find that?
So students will want to navigate on their portal to their student center. And on their student center at the bottom left-hand side, there should be links called View Your Financial Aid. And once you look at those links, you have the option to take a look at your annual offers. It breaks it down into a quarterly amount as well, so you can plan quarter by quarter. And we have, for all of our incoming students, have made scholarship offers. So we hope that you are taking a look at those. And we are also, as we know that a lot of families are anticipating possible changes in their family income, please visit our website. We do have additional resources for you. Federal allowances allow us to take a look at current family situations. So we are ready and prepared to do what we can.
Thank you, Delphina. My next question is directed towards both Sarah and Grace, our current students. What made you choose Cal Poly?
That's a great question. For me, it was actually the first time I went to farmer's market with my mom. I was just visiting the campus and we walked all up and down that main street. I think it's Higuera, and we just like sat down and were people watching, and I was like looking up at all the beautiful trees in the mountains, and it kind of just like hit me that it was the right place for me. So I had visited a couple other colleges and nothing really set in, but that's kind of like how I chose it. It just felt right.
So I'm a poly rep currently on campus, so I normally give tours, and I definitely remember my tour very vividly when I came to Cal Poly. So being from Minnesota, my mom and I, it was October, we were super stoked to go to the beach. Now being here, I know that it's not like 80 and sunny in October here. It actually rained the entire weekend that we were here, so the swimsuits that we packed weren't necessarily what we needed. But the university actually offered us like ponchos because they knew that like we were not prepared for that, which I thought was really cool. And even like amidst all of the rain and everything, everyone was so welcoming. I think it's a total basic answer, but the people really do make the place. Everyone in SLO is just so willing to help each other out. Like what I do on the weekends isn't like studying, or like sleeping in isn't what I do for fun. I like want to wake up and go to the beach and go hiking. So it's really a gem of a place, not only because of the location, but also the people who like love to be here as well.
Thank you so much. Those were fantastic. It's really fantastic to hear the experiences of our current students for sure. Our next question is for housing. So for Zachary, is there summer storage on campus?
Yes, and that would be the place where every year we analyze kind of what the demands are and kind of make different plans for it. So this year we're working closely to formulate a plan for that. And that would again be through distribution services. So that same URL that I shared earlier. And then we're looking at some options there. And then there's also multiple local companies who offer reasonable rates. I know that some of them do offer discounts to Cal Poly students as well. So you can seek out those resources, and we try and accommodate as we can.
Thank you, Zachary. Next question is for Delphina. Are there any scholarships for out-of-state students?
Absolutely. And that is one of our first scholarships that we do post for our income students. Not only do we have the Green and Gold Scholarship opportunity for students, but we also want to make sure that that scholarship, that scholarship is renewable. So you will get it not just your first year, but for your 4 years at Cal Poly. So we want to make a commitment that we do that for 4 years. So that is something that you should already see on your financial aid as a financial aid offer.
Thank you, Delphina. My next question is for Cecily. Cecily, how do parents get involved in the Parent Advisory Council?
I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know that I'm officially on the Parent Advisory Council. I just made some connections with our local representative for Colorado, and she and I started talking, and I kind of sort of invited myself to participate in some of this stuff because I felt like I had a unique perspective. My son is a sophomore and my daughter is a senior, and she actually just got accepted to Cal Poly for graduate school. So she's going to be there for a couple more years as well. I am sorry I can't give any official response to the Parent Advisory Committee, but I know that there are a lot of ways to be involved, and this is just one of them.
Jacob, do you want to explain how parents can get involved in the Parent Advisory Council?
Yes, so we do have a whole application process. And so on our website, when you look at, so if you go to parent.calpoly.edu, if you go to the Stay Involved tab, there's more information on Parent Advisory Council, what it is and what we expect from you and what you can expect from us. But essentially, you would just let us know that you're interested in participating. We would have you come to whatever the closest event is. So like for SLO days, we would have you attend a few of those sessions. We would have you attend one of our official meetings. Essentially, we just want to get to know you and know how serious you are about committing to basically trying to better our university and be like the parent, like university ambassador. And so it does come with like a short interview too. We have the current like president of the Parent Advisory Council along with our department, just ask you a few questions about your student and what you're hoping to get out of the experience. But it all kind of starts with just an email to us, and then we can take it from there and let you know what the next best steps are.
Thank you, Jacob. The next question is for our current students, Grace and Sarah. Coming from out of state, is it hard to make friends, or do you feel like you were immediately included into the community? How did that work for you?
So I think I actually just answered this typing, so I can just share what I said. So Cal Poly really sets you up to find the people that you are going to want to spend the rest of your college and beyond with. So one really great resource we have is orientation, week of welcome. So you are going to be in a WOW group within your dorm, and you've already chosen your living learning community, so you know that you have something in common with those people, whether you choose housing that's specifically within your college or your interests. So if you really love to travel, or if you're part of the LGBTQ community, you're already coming in with that decision made for who else you want to live with. And then WOW puts you in a group with like-minded people. So I was in an academically centered environment, living learning community, and so they put me in a WOW group with other people like that. So right off the bat, before I even came to Cal Poly, it's kind of like they set up a little group for me to get to know and kind of like set the foundation for my community here. And then beyond that, during WOW, we have our club showcase. I think I signed up for like 30 clubs during that first week. I'm only part of like an active in 3 of them now, but it definitely let me pare down my interests into what I really wanted to do. I was involved in Greek life. That definitely helped me like create a little bit of a family here for me as well. I'm also architecture, so my major is pretty intensive. So meeting people in my major classes definitely helped create that little family here for me. So I definitely struggled a little bit coming into Cal Poly. I knew 3 people. So I was kind of starting from scratch, but definitely like being from out of state, I knew what I was getting myself into a little bit. So I was opening myself up to a lot of perspectives. And I think that really helped me in the long run.
Grace, actually, I had a similar story when I came here. I only knew 1 other student, but I never felt like I was at a disadvantage for being out of state. I actually met in my WOW group, I think there were 4 of us that were out of state, and that might be pretty unusual, but I was within the dorms for like surrounded with other students within the College of Architecture and Environmental Design. And I think in the majors of landscape architecture, we had a high amount of out-of-state students, but Cal Poly provides so many different ways for you to get involved and for you to meet other students. That's why I joined the Local Connections program, was because I wanted to meet other out-of-state and international students. But I have so many like friends now just from out of state, international, and within like California. I think everyone just is super welcoming within the community, and everyone just wants you to be like a part of the big Mustang family. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Thank you so much, Sarah and Grace. We have one final question for Cecily. Cecily, should parents come to the Mustang Family Weekend? And what's that like?
Oh, it's so much fun. We had the best time, and my kids tried to convince me that it's a first-year parent thing only, but we've been every year. There's just so many activities on campus. I think that my daughter's freshman year, we joined a group of students who were volunteering making crafts for Children's Hospital in the area, and that was a lot of fun. There's a lot of great food on campus. All of the campus clubs and organizations are putting on a pretty good show to, kind of confirm that we've made the right decision. And there's just an awful lot to do. The street fair is a lot of fun. There's just programs everywhere, and everywhere you go, you feel this Cal Poly pride. The local residents are wearing their green and gold, and everybody just really wants you to feel at home. We really have enjoyed it. We've been 4 years in a row now, and we'll continue to go for another couple of years.
Fantastic. Thank you to all of our panelists for answering those questions. I know that everyone really benefited from hearing your responses. We're going to be wrapping up this session, and so I want to leave you with a little more information on who to contact. We do have some regional admissions managers in some areas of the nation. We've got in Hawaii, Colorado, Texas, Illinois, and of course the Pacific Northwest, so Oregon and Washington. If you haven't already met the regional admissions manager in your area, please feel free to reach out to them. They're more than happy to answer any questions that maybe we didn't get to today or some that came up later. I've got their emails listed here as well, and in the little chat feature, we are including the regional web pages for all of those regions so that you can get a little bit more information. If you're located in a state where we don't have a regional admissions manager, that's okay. Feel free to contact our admissions office directly at admissions@calpoly.edu. We've got a wonderful team in our admissions department who can help answer any of your questions. And then finally, we do have some contact information for some of our panelists who joined us today. And thank you so much to all of our panelists who came. We definitely have those links there, and we should also be including them in that chat feature as well. So if you have any final questions about financial aid or housing, please feel free to reach out to those departments by email at this time, and we can help get those questions answered also. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed our session and that it was helpful in making this decision. We are so excited to meet all of you in the fall, and we're just so glad that you're part of our Mustang family. Thank you so much. We're going to be sending a recording of this video in a few days, so look out for that. And please, if you have more questions, we are going to be answering a few more in that Q&A section there, and we'll hang on a little while for that. Thank you so much for joining us.